Welcome to the Daily Rebel, Saturday bonus edition, for men who are done playing games with their faith and ready to live it for real. No excuses, no hiding, no fluff, just truth that hits your life where it actually counts. Because your faith isn't proven by what you say, it's proven by how you show up and live. So step up, men, let's lock in and let's get to work. Yo, what's good, men? Here we go. We're on week 3 of the No More Retreat series, and today we're talking about the battle for your discipline. And where we're going to go is I want to read a portion of Judges chapter 16, 4 through 21. And I want to show you where Samson is at. And again, we're kind of jumping all over the place during this series, but because it's just the way I've ordered them. But in Judges chapter 16, verse 4, it says this: sometime later, he, Samson, fell in love with a woman named Delilah, who lived in Sorek Valley. The Philistine leaders went up to her and said, "Persuade him to tell you where his great strength comes from, so we can overpower him. Tie him up and make him helpless. Each of us will then give you 1,100 pieces of silver." So these guys could not figure out what made this man so strong. So look at verse 6. It says this: so Delilah said to Samson, "Please tell me, where did your great strength come from? How could someone tie you up and make you helpless?" And Samson told her, "If they tie me up with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, I will become weak and be like other men." The Philistine leaders brought her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not been dried, and she tied them up with them. And while the men in ambush were waiting in a room, she called out to him, "Samson, the Philistines are here." But he snapped the bowstrings as a strand of yarn snaps when it touches fire. And the secret of his strength remained unknown. So what you see here is eventually in verse 10, Delilah said, "Hey, you've mocked me. You told me lies." And she keeps trying to deceive Samson, and Samson keeps telling her, "This is what it is. This is what it is." And then eventually, verse 15, Samson gives her a lie, and then he snaps and breaks through whatever bounds him, and he beats up these guys. This guy has brute strength. In verse 15, it says, Delilah says, "How can you say I love you?" She told him, "And when your heart is not with me. This is the 3rd time you've mocked me and told me that what makes your strength so great. You haven't told me." Verse 16, but she nagged him day after day, pleaded with him until she wore him out. Verse 17, she told her the whole truth. He told her the whole truth and said to her, "My hair has never been cut because I'm a Nazarite to God from birth. If I'm shaved, my strength will leave me and I will become weak just like any other man." So here's the deal. No man accidentally becomes faithful. Faithfulness is built through daily discipline. And every time you lower the standard, you lower the man. And that's what Samson did. He would lower the standard. He'd lower the standard with his women. Lower the standard by doing dumb things that were not authorized by the kingdom of the Lord. But here's the deal. Discipline isn't always glamorous. Not everybody celebrates consistency. Most of life is built in ordinary moments when we're bored. Most men, listen, we don't fail because life got harder. We fall because we slowly lower our standard. And examples, we say things like, "I've got kids now. I'm too busy. I'm exhausted. I'll get back to it." Little by little, the standard drops, and so does the man. Again, every time you lower the standard, you lower the man. So Judges 16, Samson isn't the young man he once was. He's already chased his appetites. He's ignored his convictions. He's flirted with compromise. And every time, God delivered him. And every escape convinced him he was above the consequences. And then Delilah, again, enters the story. The Philistine rulers promise her wealth if she discovers the source of Samson's strength, and she becomes the enemy's inside connection. Not by force, but by seduction. Not with a sword, but with persistence. And this is spiritual warfare disguised as affection. I want you to hear this, man. Write this down. The devil rarely shows up looking like a devil. He often shows up looking like a desire. See, discipline walks away long before disaster arrives. Long before disaster arrives. Delilah never changes. Samson does. She asks, he lies. She tests him, he escapes. And then, because Delilah never changes and Samson does, every time he has an opportunity to leave, but he stays. Every compromise convinces him he is untouchable. He mistakes God's mercy for God's approval. And eventually, he tells her everything. Here's the deal. And then eventually what happens is, we know, Samson gets captured. He gets his eyes gouged out. See, nobody ruins their life in one decision. They lower the standard one compromise at a time. Man, overconfidence has destroyed more of us than opposition ever has. The enemy still uses Delilah's strategy. He just changed the platform. He says things like, "You've earned this. It's only one click. No one will know." It kind of goes back to the garden, right? Did God really say? He doesn't need catastrophic failure. He just repeats small concessions. So here's the day. He's just going to continue to whisper in your ear, man, you deserve this, do it. Satan doesn't have to push you off the cliff. He just has to get you to take one step closer every day until you fall to your death. Let me give y'all 3 truths. Number 1, raise the standard for your walk with God. Men, raise the standard for your walk with God. Stop allowing going to church because that's what you're supposed to do to be your standard. If that's your standard, that sounds boring. Just going to church. You know what's going to enliven your spiritual life is when you dive into the Word of God without your pastor having to spoon feed you. You know what's going to enrich your prayer life by raising the standard for your walk with God? When you start praying and stop making excuses of why you think he can't hear you because you don't sound professional. You know what's going to raise your standard for your walk with God is when worship becomes less about you putting your hands in your pocket because that's not what cool guys do, even though you lose your mind at football, basketball games. And start worshiping the Lord with a posture that says, I don't care what anybody thinks of me, man. Lord, you deserve my energy. You deserve my enthusiasm. You deserve my worship. When you get serious about church in terms of not just showing up, but actually serving, and when you get serious about accountability, you will raise your standard for your walk with God. You will never consistently live above the God you casually pursue. I'm going to say that again. You will never consistently live above the God that you casually pursue. Here's the deal. Raise the standard for your walk with God, man. It starts there. Samson did not raise his standard with the Lord. He didn't believe the Lord's ways were truths, and he constantly failed because of it. Number 2, and this one's going to be a trigger for some of y'all, but that's part of it. That's part of truth. Number 2, you need to raise the standard for your body. Man, some of y'all need to exercise, bro. Some of y'all need to sleep 6 to 7 to 8 hours a night. Some of you need to have better nutrition. Stewarding your body is so important. You need energy for leadership. Listen, guys, the dad bod is not a badge of honor. You can't just say, well, this is dad life. No, you need to learn how to steward your body. Every rep in the gym teaches your flesh. It doesn't get the final vote. Every rep in the gym is practice for every temptation outside of it. Since when did, and I heard this recently and I totally agree with it. Since when did it's just dad life? Since when did that become not having a standard by which we just be in shape? Now, listen to me, man. This is not body shame, and I don't think the goal is not to become a lookalike of a Greek god. Like, you don't have to have an 18-pack. But, guys, some of y'all, man, if I got to just speak truth to you, you need to raise the standard of your body. You need to be able to move. You need to have longevity. It doesn't mean you can't get hit by a bus tomorrow. It doesn't mean that if you work out, you're never going to get cancer. It doesn't mean that your health is not going to go south. I mean, I literally 2 years ago, as in shape as I was 2 years ago, had to go to the ER. I lost 25 pounds. Nobody could figure out what was wrong with me, and I was in great shape. It doesn't mean, but what it does mean is I can roll on the ground with my boys. I can run with them. I can wrestle with them. I can pull the wagon out to the beach without having to huff and puff the entire time because I keep myself in shape. Again, it is your responsibility to steward your body so that your family can get the most of you. You got to raise the standard for your body. You got to get the exercise. You got to get sleep, whatever that looks like, whether it's jujitsu, whether that's walking every day, whether that's hitting the weights, whether that's jogging. I don't care what it is, but I want to encourage some of you men to raise the standard on your body and stop using the dad life as an excuse to be a slob. I just want to encourage you to get yourself in a situation where you're being physically active to raise the standard, because here's what's going to happen. Your kids are going to follow you in that. Here's number 3. Raise the standard for your home. Hey, man, if you're married, pray with your wife. Date her. Lead your family. Hey, if you're single, marriage doesn't create discipline, homies. It reveals it. Become the right man before looking for the right woman. How about that, single dudes? Stop thinking that marriage is obviously going to solve your porn problem. Stop thinking that a marriage is all of a sudden like you work out until the honeymoon, and then past the honeymoon, you're like, okay, now I can do whatever you want. Wait. You just tried to win her over just for a good night because you look good? Or do you want to keep yourself having a standard even after marriage? How about become the right man and stop worrying about where the right woman is? Because the standard you live today becomes a legacy your family lives tomorrow. All right? So let me give you all 4 ways how men raise the standard. Number 1, start your day with God before your phone. Start your day with God before your phone, word before world. Don't touch it. Don't look at your notifications. If you're a workhorse and you hustle too much, just make a decision. That's what discipline is. Discipline is making decisions against yourself. Make a decision against yourself. And this goes back to just diving into the word and being a man who raises a standard on the relationship with the Lord. May his voice be the first. Number 2, train your body because stewardship matters. It matters. What are you doing in this life? Are you going to choose to pursue a healthy lifestyle so you can have longevity for your kids and your wife, your future grandkids? Listen, man, I want to encourage you to make decisions against yourself. If you got a problem with donuts, don't drive by Message in Lafayette. You got a problem with bread, man, every time you go to a restaurant, make sure y'all don't order any. You know, you put all that pizza down. Like, look, today is the day to train your body because stewardship matters. Take care of yourself. It's not everything. Even the Apostle Paul, when he talks to Timothy, he says, hey, physical training has some value, spiritual training of all value. Don't say that guys who work out or girls who work out, it's vanity because they're just trying to look good. How about most people maybe just trying to stay in shape so they can have a long, healthy life? So don't get upset for those who actually are making the discipline to do it. Step up yourself. Number 3, pursue your wife or become the kind of man worth marrying. Pursue your wife. Go after her heart. Or if you're single, become the man worth marrying. If you're single, become the one. Be the man that is going to become who your future wife would marry. Number 4, live today like someone is following you. And if you're a parent, if you're a father, your kids are going to follow you. If you're not a father, but you have people that look up to you, you need to act like somebody is looking up to you because somebody is. See, Samson lowered his standard. Jesus never did. And where Samson compromised, Jesus obeyed. Through his spirit, he empowers us to raise the standard. Samson didn't lose his strength because Delilah was too persuasive. He lost it because he kept lowering the standard. Remember, it took a while for her to get to him, and eventually he lowered the standard, and he caved, and he died because of it. Your future will never rise above the standard you're willing to live today. I'm going to say that one more time. Your future will never rise above the standard you're willing to live today. Men, I love you too much not to keep it real with you. You got to take care of your mind. Go read. Sharpen it. You got to take care of your body. Steward it well. You got to take care of your spiritual life. Go after the Lord with everything. You got to take care of your relationships. Keep pursuing your wife. Pursue your kids. Because when all else fails, your relationship with the Lord and them are the only ones that are going to matter. We'll see you right here next week as we continue our study in the No More Retreat. Amen. That's your Daily Rebel Saturday edition for the men. Now go live it. Lead yourself well. Don't keep it to yourself, because Redeemed Rebels, we don't just profess faith, we prove it. If you want to equip other men and grow their faith, share this with them, leave a 5-star review, and we'll see you next time on the Saturday bonus edition of